the #1 podcast for your shop. Brought to you by the UnitedPropBuilders, Coffee Powered Media, and Tucker Props, with your hosts Adam Hazy, Sean Toomey, and Ryan Tucker.
Hey Shop Rats, welcome to the Prop Shop, the podcast that brings you the coolest tips and tricks for your costuming and replica prop needs. We're your hosts, Adam Hazy.
And Sean Toomey.
And boy, do we have a show lined up for you.
That's right.
As we just tease on into this next section, because hey, guess what? The Star Wars teaser came out this week.
Yep.
So, I don't know about you, Sean, but I was pretty excited for it.
Yeah, it was amazing. And it was last week.
It happens, you know.
It was last week, yeah.
We took last week off for holidays. Woo.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because, you know, here in America, we had Thanksgiving. It was delicious.
Yeah.
But anyway, so, yeah, the new Star Wars trailer teaser came out.
Yeah.
And I was impressed. I loved it. There's two things I want to see what's going on with them, because I'm not sure how I feel about them. For those of you who haven't seen, you might want to skip a couple minutes ahead. For those who have seen, stick around for the discussion. It'll be great.
Or just pause and look it up on YouTube and watch that, you know?
That'd be cool, too.
Yeah.
But the new Astromech droid, I'm curious about. I don't hate him, but I'm curious about him. I want to see how he fits in.
You mean Soccer Bot?
Yeah,
Soccer Ball Bot? Yeah, okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's actually that was actually Ralph McQuarrie's original design for R2-D2, and George Lucas loved it. But when they got to actually making the first movie, they realized that they couldn't do it, so they just scrapped the design. I'm really happy that.
Yeah, I like how they're doing a lot of the McQuarrie stuff in honor of his death.
Yeah, well, yeah, just it's more of just like a.
But it's also for the ideas to keep it in the Star Wars universe. But like I said, I'm interested to see where it goes, because I'm curious, because I've heard a lot of different things about him. Whether he's like a transformer of sorts, where it's like when he stops rolling, the sphere turns into a classic astromech body, or if
how does that work?
The way it is. Well, because if you look, it's if you freeze frame and through each little spot, there's different sections of them, like a soccer ball.
Yeah.
So just do some twisty turns, and you have a different shape.
Interesting. Okay.
Like I said, it's just one of the things I heard online. It sounded interesting. I thought it was kind of cool.
Huh.
But the head bounces around, too, if you watch closely. It's not solid gliding on there.
Right. It looks like it's kind of magnetized or something. It looks like
that universe doesn't have magnets.
Well, you know. Nothing's
earthy.
Impossible. I mean, nothing's impossible, you know.
Right, they have repulsors.
Yeah.
But
what are these magnets? I mean, we don't have what are these mythical items called magnets? Excuse me while I use the Force to move this fighter right over here.
Is that a problem?
You know? Just saying.
But I'm so excited for those stormtroopers.
I am too.
I'm so excited for them.
Yeah.
And the character in the beginning,
mm-hmm.
I think he's an undercover. I don't think he's a real trooper. I think he's on the Republic side. Or
he's one of the
we're gonna call him.
He's one of the lead actors.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he's a good guy. But I think he's going to be like an undercover good guy or something.
Possibly. There's actually, I heard a rumor where it's actually the kid from Star Wars Rebels. So that's, again, totally a rumor. If you haven't seen,
I'm going to disagree with that, but it's interesting.
Yeah, but I mean, just think about it. I mean, he was in the Stormtrooper Academy or Imperial Academy, you know, to be a Stormtrooper.
Oh, right. Okay, now I know who you're talking about. I thought you meant Ezra at first.
No, not Ezra. That one kid who was looking for his sister.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. See, now do you see where I'm coming from?
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, that's just a rumor that I heard. It would be really interesting if it were true, because then it's like you're tying both universes or both franchise or not franchise.
I don't think it could be though. Only because he looks too young to be him. And because it's 30 years after Return of the Jedi. So you still have a timeline before Episode 4 up to Return of the Jedi.
How old would you say that kid is? He's about the same age as
when he's in the academy?
Ezra. Yeah.
Probably between 12 and 15, I would assume.
12 and 15?
Just because in cartoons and animes, they always look older than they actually are.
Right. So, yeah, I could see...
So they're
maybe,
not 8 or 9.
I could see about 13 or 14.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm actually going to look up...
Yeah, look that up.
I'm looking up something different.
Oh.
Because I feel terrible for not knowing this.
Oh.
The years between episodes 4 and episode 6.
Between episode 4 and episode 6?
Yeah, how many years that took place. Okay, Yahoo Answers, don't fail me. This is the research portion of the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see here. There is 3 years between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, and 1 year between Empire and Jedi, so that's 4 years. So let's just assume that kid's 15 for easy math.
Okay.
Plus 4 years would be 19. Plus 30 years after that is 39, almost 40. It's possible.
I could see it. Yeah, I could see that, actually.
So that's not too far off. To me, he looks in like mid-30s, but it could work.
Yeah, see, that's really what I'm thinking, and
especially if he's younger than what we're guesstimating.
Yeah.
I think it could be true. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. Again, that's just a rumor. It's nothing official. It's just something that I read on the internet a few weeks, or like 2 weeks ago, or a week ago.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So now time for the biggest controversy in this teaser, Sean.
Ooh.
What do you think about the fudgesicle speeder?
the Jello pudding popsicle thing.
I like the design. I think it fits. I think it works.
It does look like a Jello pudding pop. Okay, but seriously, I like it too. It's a bit big. You know, it looks like it's a bit too big.
Well,
honestly,
if you're looking at it from the point of view of everybody's assuming it's Tatooine, so that means they don't have access to great parts.
Right.
More than likely, it could have been salvaged from a pod racer or some crash shuttles or something, or it could be factory made like that. Either way, they're not going to have the sleek stuff of the prequels because the Empire's been ruling things and it's militaristic. Even if it is 30 years after, you're still going to have that residue from them.
Right. Look at the Stormtroopers.
I think it works.
Yeah, maybe not. I'm not a huge fan of the size. If it were a little smaller, yes, because then it actually looks like it would be a, speeder bike and not a giant fudgesicle.
Well, I have a feeling it's not going to last long.
Well, who knows?
Because on something I was listening to earlier, they're comparing that to Luke's land speeder when he was on Tatooine. Right. That's kind of like, here's a reminisce of like, this lady has her thing, Luke had his thing. So if it's anything like that, it's not going to last too long.
Okay.
But so the lightsaber.
I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait. We're just gonna have to wait and see. Lightsaber, yes.
I like and dislike the lightsaber all at the same time. I really need more context for it. But because I like the idea of it, but the fact that it's like pulsing and flamish and not solid worries me. But if they explain it in the sense of it's either an unstable crystal or it's not aligned right, or it's some kind of new weird prototype thrown together humble jumble, then that'll be interesting. But if that's Abrams' take on the lightsaber, having it be not a solid laser,
almost, yeah.
I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about it until I see it more.
Well, here's the thing, okay? I don't think that the lightsaber is meant to be a laser sword, exactly. It's supposed to be more of a, burning plasma, to where it has it does have a limit to how high it can reach. Because, if it were a laser, it would just keep going forever. But, But also...
It's freaking sweet, though.
It is. It's really cool.
I want to know more about that character, too.
I do, too.
Speculation is between him and the girl on the fudgesicle that those could be the twins of the Solos.
Interesting.
Which, if that's true, I would love that so much if that was true.
I actually heard a rumor that that's like a cyborg or an android.
Interesting.
That's a rumor that I heard back a few months ago, actually.
It could be, but the only thing that makes me not agree with that is if you watch the trailer closely, when he turns the lightsaber on, his arm does a jerk, like there was a bit of force in it. And if it was a droid, I think his arm would have just been like completely solid stiff.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Then I guess the cyborg thing would probably
It could be a cyborg, but not a droid.
Right. I don't know. That's just another rumor that I heard a few months back when the pictures of him were leaked.
I cannot wait to see more of this. I am so pumped for it.
Now, another thing about the lightsaber that you mentioned, it also might be the fact that it has to redirect power into two of the handguards.
Right. Two things. Splits.
So that way, that's probably why it sputters, is because it has to redirect that power, and it doesn't have enough power to.
That'd be kind of cool. Everything I like that
fully. Which goes back into the whole it's a crude design or a crystal or something that's not powerful enough.
I can accept that as an answer.
So
that's good. And
I actually either way, I kind of like the idea of it sputtering like that, because it goes into the whole thing that it's not supposed to be it's supposed to be more of like plasma burning than anything. So
right. My only thing is, if that's the way all lightsabers are now, we're gonna have an issue.
Well, I think that's going to be a unique thing. Honestly,
I hope if it's a unique thing, then I love it.
Because
I'm so bipolar about it.
Yeah,
it's because I know nothing about it. That's why.
I don't think JJ is going to take and just something so iconic as a lightsaber and just kind of like, hey, I don't like the way that it's a solid object. Let's make it go. You know,
and I don't know how I feel about the handguard idea. I'm curious about it. I don't hate it. I'm curious about it.
Well, it's supposed to be a broadsword,
right?
Basically, it's basically supposed to be a broadsword. So,
but it's like the part. But if you think about the way lightsaber combat works, the blades don't slide on each other. They kind of hit and
kind of stick to each other.
Yeah.
Well,
so I'm curious to see what it's gonna do.
Yeah. So, of course, I see a lot of people complaining about the fact that they're the two metal bits on the side. And
that's just the first time somebody.
I know, but the first time the lightsaber goes through that, it's completely useless. But
no,
that's what some people, or I've heard a lot of people.
Well, I've heard it too, but I thought you were arguing for it. So let's
count how many minutes it takes for me to cut off my own hand.
Yeah, but no, because the tubing around is just a casing, so it's being split on the inside. Theoretically, it's not three separate ones.
Right.
Assuming that Colbert was right. If you haven't seen it, watch Stephen Colbert's video.
I saw a little diagram, but that's actually the generally accepted.
It's a good argument.
Design too. So.
Yeah. But oh man, those stormtroopers. So cool. And I'm hearing speculation that those aren't X-wings in the water skid scene.
Really?
Right. They're not quote unquote X-wings. They're like either a variant or an update or something to them.
Yeah, I would expect them to be an update.
Which again, I have no real problem with. I expect them to get better.
Yeah, definitely. It's like, well, I mean, I wouldn't expect the same X-wings to be in service for 30 years, you know?
Well, I'm sure there's going to be some, maybe.
Well, I take that back because there are certain planes that have been in service for longer than that, so.
Yeah.
You know.
But that's not all the trailers we have to talk about yet, is there?
No, it is not.
So what do we have up next, Shano?
Next up, we have Terminator Genesis.
Now, this one I haven't seen yet because it just came out, but I heard it's super good.
It's a really good trailer. I'm very excited for it. The it basically what the idea behind it is that the whole Terminator thing, history's rewritten basically from the original. Have you seen the original Terminator?
I have. I've seen the first three.
So you know how
number 4 was terrible.
You know, Arnold was sent back to kill Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
Right? In this one, he's already there, and they took care of the other Terminator already. By the time that guy shows up, I can't remember his name. Do you remember his name?
No.
You know what I'm talking about? The guy sent back to help Sarah or to save Sarah. That turns out to be John Connor's dad.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. You know.
It's been so long since I've seen Terminator.
Yeah, it's basically like.
So
it's a really cool trailer.
Is it a sequel or a prequel to one of them?
It's basically, it starts out with him being sent back to save Sarah Connor.
So it's in conjunction with the first one.
It's basically a rewritten history of the first one. Like it takes place during the first movie, almost. Weird. But in an alternate timeline.
Weird. Interesting.
It's time travel, okay?
I'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah, I do a horrible job of explaining it, but it's seriously, I know I did a horrible job of explaining that, but if you haven't seen it, go see it. It's really cool. Can't wait.
I'll probably have to do that right after listening to this podcast.
Yeah. So what other trailers do we have?
Well, our last one that I know about, it has a special place in both of our hearts. It's
Especially
one of your favorite franchises ever.
Franchises.
It's one of your favorite franchises ever.
Yeah.
In a world where dinosaurs roam free, watch out for Jurassic World.
I was already doing that.
The Jurassic World teaser trailer came out. It's all teaser trailers. There's no real trailers anymore.
I mean, I know.
But it looks interesting. I have a few gripes about it, but it looks really interesting.
I like grapes.
Gripes.
You said grapes.
I said gripes.
No, you said grapes.
Well, we'll figure that out later. But the orbs, the traveling orbs, those are the only things where I'm like, I don't know.
To be honest, I hate the CG. I don't like the CG.
It's not their best. It's definitely not their best.
It does not. It's not even on. You can't even compare it with the original CG.
No, in my opinion, the original Jurassic Park still has the best CG for animals.
Anything.
Even The Hobbit, I have issues with their CG.
Okay, and I mean you're gonna hate me for this. Everybody's gonna hate me for this, but it's Jurassic Park and Avatar had the best CG that I've ever seen.
What Avatar?
James Cameron's Avatar.
Okay, I didn't care for the movie, so I didn't pay attention to the CG in it.
The CG was my second favorite CG that has ever been done. But the original Jurassic Park is still the best that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
But especially like the one thing that really kind of pulled me out of the trailer was not the bubbles.
Chris Pratt.
The bubbles. Chris Pratt. No, Chris Pratt was okay. The one thing that I didn't like about it. What? Okay. No, the one thing I didn't really like was that I don't know what it was. The aquatic dinosaur thing.
Oh, he was cool.
It looked like a Leopleurodon. Yeah, but the CG was so flat.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
It's like it didn't look like it belonged there. And then of course you got half the like maybe in that scene with the giant arena or the all the people sitting down in the not an arena, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like maybe there were 30 real people there and everything else was CG, and it's like
not necessarily okay. CG. It was probably copy paste.
No, it was all CG. Well, technically, it was all CG. Technically. But I did not like that dinosaur that apparently isn't actually a dinosaur.
Now, you didn't like the dinosaur or the CG?
I didn't like the CG of the dinosaur. That having that in there was cool. Okay, that was really cool. But the CG, it looked so flat that it pulled me out of the trailer.
Gotcha.
So it's I don't know. It's one of those things. I like to look at details and stuff like that.
Yeah, because it's weird. I don't know what's going on, but lately, CG in movies, at least in my opinion, has been so back and forth. Because it's like what you said with Jurassic World, I agree with, where it was just completely flat. But then, if you look at The Hobbit, that white orc,
right,
he just stands out way too much. Like he looks fake because he stands out so much.
Right.
So they can't get that middle ground. They're having a hard time with that lately.
Right. Now, maybe if they had... again, it's a teaser trailer. I mean, I don't know...
So it could be fixed, but...
Right. Have they... Well, yeah, you could probably fix the like the color grading and the color correction for everything.
Yeah.
Or the color correction and the grading to make it look like it actually fits into the world. But it just... From that, it just looked really flat. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's one of the bad things about me going to film school is I look for inconsistencies in that, and I'm not able to actually enjoy trailers anymore.
Oh,
so it's like I look at details and I'm like, no, this is not good. I wouldn't do it that way. No.
So for my Chris Pratt rant.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Okay, so I like him as an actor. He's good. I like him.
Okay.
But Hollywood's doing this thing where they have an actor in one big movie and then he's in like everything else.
Okay, well, you also have to understand that they were probably filming Jurassic World and Guardians of the Galaxy around the same time.
I know, but it's
it's not that it just happened to happen that way.
I just don't like when things happen like that.
I'm
having a hard time with this, like, Wolverine mixed with Indiana Jones character.
Wolverine mixed with Indiana Jones.
Because he's so buff, but he's wearing, like, Indiana Jones garb, and I'm like,
well,
I don't believe that's what you would wear.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying, though?
Kind of. The whole point of him there is he's like a park ranger type character, so he's got to look like that.
I've never seen a park ranger look like that.
Okay. You've never seen a dinosaur either, so just saying.
I have. I've watched Jurassic Park 1, 2, and 3.
You've never been to a Jurassic Park.
I've been to a museum.
I've been to Universal Studios where they actually have the Jurassic Park stuff there, so...
Oh, that upsets me. I want to go see that so much.
It's not as great as you'd think it is.
It is.
Not really. It's really not. Not dissing on... Actually, I am dissing on Universal Studios.
Yeah.
It was fun. Fun.
That's one of like the top 5 things I really want to see is like Jurassic Park stuff, the Harry Potter stuff, Legoland. I want to go to Legoland, and then Star Tours and all the new Star Wars stuff that's about to come out. So I'm more excited for Universal than Disney.
Yeah.
Well, Disney with the Star Wars, but
yeah, I guess. So, speaking of movie trailers and stuff, or not really trailers, but movies in general.
Mm-hmm.
Today, Batman vs. Superman wrapped.
Did it?
Yep. It officially wrapped production or wrapped principal photography today.
Interesting. Cool.
So the DP for the film actually put out a Vine showing what appears to be snow falling on Batman's cape, which is a reference to The Dark Knight Returns.
Oh, that's cool.
So the scene the fight between Batman and Superman in The Dark Knight Returns. So that really pumped me up for this movie.
For those who don't know, what's a DP?
Director of photography.
Gotcha.
Sorry, I should have. Again, film student.
Yeah.
So that made me really excited. And speaking of DC movies, a trailer for the direct-to-DVD Justice League movie came out. It's like King of Atlantis or something like that.
It
has to do. Yeah, it has to do with Aquaman.
Oh, it's cool. I like Aquaman.
Yeah, if you haven't seen, I think it's Justice League War.
I haven't.
It came out. Yeah, it's really good. I really enjoyed that movie. It has to do. It's the sequel to that.
Okay.
So cool. It's really cool. It's a really good movie. I suggest.
Hopefully Netflix picks it up. I have Netflix.
They might. So.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And how is all this related? Well, because you can look at all these trailers and start making your props and costumes for the movie releases.
Absolutely. You better hurry, because some of the people are already doing it. That did not come out the way I wanted.
That's actually true.
Yeah, it is very, very true. I've seen a few stormtroopers and stuff already. So
yeah, I've seen
a lot of stormtrooper builds.
You can already get the new astromech droid on Thingiverse to 3D print.
Really?
Yep. Like not a full size one, but like a little tiny desk one.
Hey Adam, I think I need something 3D printed.
Yeah. So do I.
Yeah, you do, don't you?
Yeah, school's printers were having issues lately, so I have.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, they just finished another part that I submitted like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. A small piece too, not a big piece.
In case you didn't know, he has access to a 3D printer at his school.
I do for like a few more months, but yeah.
Unlimited access. They probably hate you.
No, they will after Christmas break, so I'm afraid to submit anything right now because in a week we go on holiday break.
Ah, I gotcha.
So I don't want to submit something and then not be able to pick it up until January.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of lame.
So
this is going to be so nice. So
what is?
Oh, yeah, I'm 3D printing a lightsaber.
There you go.
Sorry, I was assembling it and I got really excited.
Focus, Adam, focus.
But yeah, so I'm slowly having a 3D lightsaber printed. A 3D printed lightsaber.
There you go.
Yeah, if you guys want to check out the lightsaber, actually look at one of Tested's videos. They did a whole coverage thing about it, which is really cool. 14 pieces it's going to be. 14 pieces.
14 pieces.
I currently have 4. One of them I'm probably not even going to use.
Well, 10 more to go.
Yep.
And that's why your school is going to hate you.
Yep. Okay, so moving on from everything else, Sean, there's some sad news we have to talk about now.
Sad news?
Yep,
I don't like sad news. Is it necessary news?
Yeah, I feel it is.
Okay.
Even though everybody on the internet's probably already seen it, but just to make you guys aware, be careful what gets pointed at you. Because in Indianapolis, the police department confiscated a Super Soaker disguised shotgun. A
shotgun disguised as a Super Soaker.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, if you're hanging out in the winter and you see a Super Soaker, watch out.
Yeah.
Check that out.
Might be a 12 gauge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in some controversial news that's been going on.
Because a Super Soaker shotgun disguised as a Super Soaker isn't controversial.
Yeah, not compared to what we're about to get.
Oh, really? Then this must be really bad.
So, I don't find it to be bad. A lot of people are making it out to be bad.
Oh, okay.
So in the newest form of anti-cosplay, Pat Broderick, a DC and Marvel comic book artist, he worked heavily on the 70s and 80s Batman titles like Batman Year 3, Captain Atom, Doom 2099, Micronauts, etc., etc.
Huh.
One of his Facebook statuses was, and I quote, "Today's heads up. If you're a cosplay personality, please don't send me friend requests. If you are a convention promoter and you're building your show around cosplay events and mega multiple media guests, don't invite me." I didn't read this ahead of time, so I'm trying to read it for the first time with all these random words. You bring nothing of value to the shows, and if you're a promoter pushing cosplay as your main attraction, you're not helping the industry or comics market. Thank you. He later goes on into the comment section of his own posts to say that cosplay are, I'm assuming he means cosplayers, cosplay are just selfies in costume, and doing multiple selfies is the highest expression of narcissism. Why the hell anyone pay for a signature on a photo with a cosplay character? This has not made its, and then it goes on to talk about how the attendance for cons is higher than ever. But this has not made its way to the booths, dealers, and artists. It's just been this show. So
this has kind of come up before, with another artist or another comic book writer. And it's, guys, you really shouldn't be complaining because it's basically free publicity. Okay, people cosplaying as characters, and plus it's people who show that they love the characters that you have created. Seriously, it sounds more like you're just being an unappreciative little what, to say, I hate cosplayers, they do nothing good. Well, they're fans of your work, okay? You're treating your fans, it just goes to show what kind of a person you are if you're treating or telling your fans that you're nothing,
So I'm going to take an opposite stance on this because I can see both sides of this. So I get the point that you're coming from, and I agree with it, but I also agree with this other point.
Okay.
Where a lot of the times these comic book artists didn't create the character; they're just drawing the stories of the character. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's not that that they're not getting any publicity from it because it's not their work per se.
Not their creations, right?
You're just giving the character or the publisher the publicity.
Right,
and,
but still the author or the illustrator for this comic, still on their payroll. So there's still going to be, it's still publicity for them as well.
And I can also understand where he's coming from for comic conventions, where you're supposed to be there for the love of comics.
And instead people are there for the cosplay.
Right.
Well, okay, I understand that.
Like I said, I can see where he's coming from, and I can partially agree with both sides.
Right, I understand that.
Because if you think like 20, 30 years ago, I know times have changed and blah, 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 but you're there for the comics, to meet people who enjoy the comics, who work on the comics, to be there. Where what's happening now is kind of what he's getting at, is where it's like, the people are there to show themselves off, not a lot of the times not to get comics, not to meet the artists. Just because attendance is up doesn't mean the vendors, who sometimes have to pay ridiculous amounts of money to be there, Wizard World, that they're not making enough back to make it profitable for them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because they're there for their own publicity, for the costume contest, or to be recognized, or... And then he goes on to saying, paying for a picture or an autograph with somebody in costume, I would never do that. Like, I agree with him with that. It's like, I couldn't pay somebody for a picture just because they're a cosplayer.
Right. Like, that's
my personal opinion.
Yeah, that's one of those things where I can't stand it when, like, you walk up to somebody, hey, can I get a picture? It's just, like, let's say a quote-unquote famous cosplayer, like, can I get a picture? And yeah, $20. It's like, never mind, I don't want it that badly.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't pay for somebody, like, a picture of somebody either, in a costume. Now, if it were a actual celebrity or something, maybe,
I wouldn't pay for a picture with an actual celebrity. I'd pay for the autograph.
Well, for the autograph, yeah. But for pictures, like, I know there's a lot of celebrities who charge for pictures, which is like, okay. Depending who it is, I might.
You also got to be careful with that one, because sometimes it's the vendor or the host that's making them.
Right.
Not necessarily them.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, that is true. But there's again, it's I don't know. This is a really weird subject.
It is, and that's why I said I can agree with both sides of it, because
yeah. But I mean, here's the thing: you're also
cons are theoretically supposed to be for the comics.
Right, but also a lot of the guests and stuff that show up at conventions, and I know like smaller conventions as well, they're paid to be there, so they shouldn't really be complaining. They're getting money.
Right.
Anyway, they're going to be getting money from it anyways. So, I mean, you're not losing money or anything by showing up and people saying, or just going up for the cosplay, because you're still getting paid,
Yes.
I mean, yeah, you'd be making more money if you were, actually selling something there, but at the end of the day, you're still getting money.
Yeah, because I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, I can completely agree with, if your biggest selling point is, hey, we're having a costume contest, and oh yeah, these other people are here too, then you should market yourself differently and find different guests than comic book artists.
Right, but I mean, again, like for Comic-Con and stuff like that, Comic-Con has always really been, like, in the last 10 years, I'd say, has been a lot, has had a lot
now,
to do
are we
with
talking
cosplay.
about Comic-Cons in general,
like,
or San Diego, or Wizard?
I'm talking like San Diego and New York, like Comic-Con.
Okay.
Like I think it's like Comic-Con International or something like that. I don't know what it is. San Diego and New York.
Most of them are Wizard World, so.
Well, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Those two, for the past 10 years, I'd say, 5 or 10 years maybe, it's been, the biggest thing is cosplay, but I mean, still people go for the artists and the comics as well.
Right,
but that's the biggest thing. But I mean, one of their second biggest thing would probably be the cosplay, I'd say.
Right, I'm just saying I can see where he's coming from with it.
Right.
Especially if you're like a passionate comic book artist, you're there for the people who enjoy your actual work, not for
right.
But
else. Again, my whole thing is, people are dressing up as characters that you help create.
Right.
So you really shouldn't be complaining about, how your fans are passionate about your work.
No, I agree with that.
Even if you didn't directly create the character, you should not be complaining. So this guy, I think he's wrong. I'm just going to go out and say it. I think he's, just being a jerk about it, honestly.
Right, that's fine. I mean, that's your opinion. I'm just saying it's like I'm throwing the other side out there too, because not a lot of people are paying attention to that point of view.
Right. And if you disagree with me, that's fine. That's your opinion. I've got mine. You've got yours, So, I mean, it's okay if you disagree with me. I'm not going to hate you.
I'm being like that one guy on the internet who's on both sides.
Right. You're basically like me on everything. So
yeah.
But it's this one thing where it's like, okay, now it just sounds like you're being an unappreciative person. So I don't really like that. So, anyways, that was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
See, we can have a nice civil debate and not hate each other.
Kill each other. Yeah. Why can't the rest of the human race be like that?
So, a big televised event just happened.
Yes, it did.
Would you care to go more into that, Sean?
The amazing event that was Peter Pan Live.
I'm going to say amazing in air quotes. I've heard mixed things about it. I haven't seen it yet.
It was... Okay, what you have to remember, it was a live broadcast. This all happened live, so there's going to be kind of some weird quirks that happen in live TV. Right. I know you know this, Adam.
I do.
Okay, you work with live TV.
I do.
Yeah. Anyways. Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot. I completely forgot about that happening.
If you want to know what he's talking about, check out episode 2 of The Agenda.
Yeah.
You can find it at Kent State's website or just Google it.
Yeah, that's not where I was coming from, or that's not where I was going with that statement, but just whoop.
Just go cry myself to sleep tonight.
Yeah, hey, that's your fault. You reminded me of it.
So, not purposely.
Well, you went, yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Anyways.
My other desk segment went really well. You don't talk about that one.
Anyways, there are going to be quirks with live TV, so... Okay, if you don't know what Peter Pan Live was, it happened on NBC on Thursday night, December 4th, Thursday night. Anyways, it had Christopher Walken as Captain Hook, and he sounded exactly like everybody knew he was going to sound like.
Christopher Walken?
No, more like Christopher Walken. Not, you don't know when he's going to finish a sentence, or if it's just going to continue. Anyways, yeah, Christopher Walken. Anyways, best part about that whole production was Christopher Walken as Captain Hook. Seriously, it was so bad that it was good.
It would have been funny if he was Peter Pan.
Who? Peter Pan? Who? Yeah, no, Captain Hook totally stole the show. But something that I noticed actually is that the actor who played Mr. Smee had a Mandalorian tattoo on his arm, and they dressed it up. They dressed it up to make it look like a pirate costume, but you could totally tell it was a mythosaur.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was so funny. I was sitting there watching, and I just looked at it. I'm like, what? Wait a minute, what?
That's awesome.
So. Yeah, and
Mr. Smee was like his first mate or whatever.
Yes, it's his first mate.
It's been so long since I've seen anything Peter Pan related.
In the Disney movies
and
the cartoons and stuff, he's a really short, fat, white-haired dude with a big nose and red hat. In this, he's tall, skinny guy. Looks more like a pirate than not very comical. He looks like a pirate,
Right.
And so, which again, original Mr. Smee kind of looked like that as well. But anyway, it was really good. I enjoyed watching that, the whole 3 hours of that.
Oh wow, that was 3 hours.
It was 3 hours long, and it was really good. It was really good. It was. I've always been a fan of Peter Pan. Like the Disney movie, I always loved it as a kid, and the original play, I liked it as well. So this didn't have anything to do with the Disney movie. It was more of the original play.
So speaking of animated movies, this is completely random. But for the first time in probably like 10 or 15 years, I've seen one of my most loved animated movies that is always way underrated.
What's that?
Anastasia.
Oh.
I seen it on Netflix, and I was super excited, and I watched it right away.
I've never seen it.
Really?
Never seen it.
It's really good. You should watch it.
I've never really had the desire to watch it. It's one of those, like, when it came out, I didn't care about it.
Oh, I had it on VHS, so I watched it all the time.
Okay.
I still have it on VHS. It's back home.
It's one of those, I didn't really care about it when it came out.
You should give it a chance.
Yeah.
You like Russians.
I like Russians? Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. All right.
Well, that's where it takes place, in Russia.
In Russia. Yeah, I know, yeah. I know that much, but...
And then they go to France. Spoiler.
Okay. Again, not one of those things that I really...
You should check it out. It's really good.
Cared for. Never really wanted to.
So, I have a busy couple weeks ahead of me.
Oh, really?
Yep.
What do you got planned?
Well, this upcoming week is all final exams for school.
Oh,
so that's
fun.
awesome. On Saturday, I'm going to another Pokemon TCG City Championships.
That's trading card game for all the uninitiated.
And then following that, I start my super awesome project that I'm super pumped to do.
Your super awesome project that you're super pumped to do. Oh,
yeah.
I know what that is.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
I don't know if have I said what I'm doing before or no?
I
don't know if I did.
I don't know.
But whether I did or didn't, I'm going to talk about it.
All right. I was supposed to be involved in this, I think.
At one point, and then you dropped
and then
out.
I because I couldn't do it. I don't have the ability to do it.
But I'm going to make a full-scale foam R2-D2. I decided I'm going to go with R2-D2.
You're going to go with R2?
Yeah, I thought about doing an R4, but that'll be my second go-around. I want an R2-D2.
See, I would do an R4. If I were still doing this, I would go with an R4.
Well, the only reason I'm not is because R2 is super recognizable, so when I show them to people, they'll be like, oh, yeah. Not like...
No, like, that kind of looks like R2-D2, you know? It's like, well,
because see, what I really wanted to do was either an R4 or an R5.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, I'm gonna do both R2-D2 and the Astromech in Ep4 that explodes.
Red.
Yeah.
That's all I know him by is red.
Yeah, I'm gonna do. So. I was trying to be as generic as possible for anybody who didn't know.
Right.
But yeah, I want to do him because I want to have the both of them.
Yeah.
And then eventually,
are you gonna make it to where like the red one, the top of it blows out like spring loaded or something?
I'm probably gonna have them be broken, like have them
broken already. Okay. Yeah. Add like a little tiny smoke machine or something in there to make them.
It depends. I got to see how this build goes because I'm really nervous about it because I'm doing a foam core skeleton and then EVA everything else.
Right.
And I'm using all the plans that the R2 builders use for their wood and metal, for their wooden and aluminum ones.
Right.
So I might have to do modifications on the fly. I don't know. The biggest thing I'm worried about is two things. The skin, because I don't know if the rolls, I don't know the dimensions of the rolls. I don't have any on me. But I need them to be 20 inches wide from top to bottom, 20 inches.
Right.
Because the skeleton's about 19 inches. Okay. So I need some wiggle room for when I glue and stuff.
Well, I think you could always, with the rolls, you could always glue two of them together and cut what you don't need and then add...
I have that seam going down.
Well, you could tape over it and then Plasti-Dip over it and cover it up, wouldn't
it? Then you have the tape line.
Well, if you Plasti-Dip over it and it's like a thick coat of Plasti-Dip.
See, here's the other thing. I think I'm going to have to do the other method to seal it. The coats of the watered down Elmer's glue.
Oh, okay.
Only because it's going to be December and I live in the north, so it's snow all the time.
Yeah.
So I have to be indoors and I can't spray Plasti-Dip indoors.
Well, yeah.
Because one, it's almost slightly dangerous, and two, my parents don't want me.
Well, anything that's airborne can be dangerous. So.
And I almost got some contact cement too. I was going to use instead of hot glue, but then I was reading the can and I was like, I don't know if the basement's ventilated enough. The basement or the garage is ventilated enough.
Well, it also says don't use super glue in a unless you're in a ventilated area as well.
Yeah, but it's just because I never used contact cement before, so I don't know how it acts. So I don't
want to... Right. Okay, that's understandable.
I don't want to drop the money on it until I'm able to actually use it.
Okay, that's understandable. It's kind of
expensive compared to hot glue.
Yeah.
Oh, and I finally got a knife sharpener. So...
Sweet.
So now instead of going through 40 blades, I can go through like 2 blades.
Now you don't have to ruin the bottom of a ceramic mug.
Yeah.
So, in case you didn't know, that's actually a very good way of sharpening razor blades.
So yeah, I actually went out shopping the other day, and I picked up some foam core board for the skeleton. Sweet. Because I need like 3 to 4 layers of that per piece. And I don't have the measurements, so I'm hoping that the big circular sections even fit on the foam core board. And I picked it up early because Walmart's not good about keeping stuff in stock. So I got 3 sheets here by college, and I'm gonna get the rest hopefully back home.
I remember last time I went out and got foam core, the person at the cash register looked at me like I was insane because I had so much foam core. I think I had seven sheets of foam core.
I'm gonna need more than 6. I guarantee you that.
Yeah. I bought all of this at the same time.
Oh,
and,
nice.
and the woman, she's like, okay, you got 3 here? And I said, no, I've got 7. And she looked at me like, what?
That's funny. So
like,
I picked up some of that. This for? I picked up another pack of the puzzle piece foam. Mm-hmm. I need to go back to the store and check to see if they have the foam rolls before I go back, because my local stores back home don't have them. Because I have one, but I've cut some pieces off of it for... ODST revamp project that's going to be a slow and steady project. It's not going to be done anytime soon.
Right.
So I don't know if it's big enough anymore. So I'm going to pick up another one just to be safe. And then, so the EVA foam is going to be for like the legs and the skirt and the middle leg.
Right.
And then, like I said, the rolls for the skin. And then the dome. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the dome yet. Because I can do like 3 or 4 different things, and I don't know what I want to do yet. Because
depending on how big the sheets are, or how what everything looks like, you could heat the foam up and make a dome out of that. Just one solid piece or one sheet of foam. Just make a dome out of that.
Oh, out of the rolls.
Some people. No, well, I don't know. The puzzle piece, a sheet of the puzzle piece foam might not be.
Do that with, I think.
Okay.
To make it bend like that, yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe.
I don't think I'll be able to do it because it's not like plastic where you can just heat it up and then contour it.
Actually, it is.
Is it?
Yeah, that's how people do. Like, if you look at some of the tutorials for the female shepherd in 7 armor. That's how they do the chest plates for those. Okay.
But don't they have like a bowl that they use or something like that? I don't think I have like a 20-inch bowl I can use to form this thing on.
Goodwill. Go to Goodwill.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. It's an idea. If you can find something that's the same size and shape,
yeah,
it might work. But again, I don't know if one sheet of that is going to be big enough.
Because really, the only choices I can find right now are make them out of foam and then get a ton of lines, seam lines, buy a huge acrylic dome, which would cost over $200 probably, or get one of the aluminum ones, which will probably cripple my foam body.
Well, that foam core actually it can take a lot of weight.
Yeah, but the problem is the aluminum ones are still expensive.
Yeah, they are.
And some of them are made of steel, which is even heavier.
The acrylic ones are expensive?
Yes, very expensive. I would assume. I haven't looked at... I say they're expensive because, 5 years ago, I looked into doing, a full-blown, R2 Builders one. So I was looking at prices for everything, and... I couldn't afford anything.
Do you think that you could take, I know in the Dalek Builders groups, they make they have a thing that you can make domes with. It's you make the skeleton out of wood or something like that, and then fill it in with, clay or Bondo or something like that, and then you take it's a curved piece of wood on a rod, and just kind of sculpt around that and make a dome that way, and then vac form it.
You had me until you said back form. I don't have a back form table.
Make one.
But we know a guy who has one.
Yeah, we know a guy. So you could probably do something like that.
I might have to get in contact with our secret source who's been on the show before.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, see if you can get a dome made.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the very last thing I do is the dome. I know that already.
Yeah.
So that's going to be my biggest challenge, hopefully.
See, that's one of the main reasons why I would want to do an R4 is because they have it's not a dome, it's more of a cone-ish thing, you know? Not really a cone, but...
See, if I was Superfly, I could make all these parts interchangeable and just have a random droid parts lying around.
There you go.
But I'm not going to do that. I'd rather have individual droids.
Yeah. Speaking of foam, actually, I'm picking up another project.
Are you?
Yeah, it's an old project, actually, that I've been working on for a while.
Let me guess. Halo 3 Marine.
No.
Halo 3 ODST.
It's not Halo.
I'm out of guesses.
Riddle me this. What's a thing that I've been working on for about a year now?
Well, I could guess a couple things, but I'm going to go with the obvious one and say the Batman Riddler.
Yes, that is it. I actually, a few months ago, I was putting a desk together, and it left me with all these foam blocks, these styrofoam blocks. Mm-hmm. And I looked down yesterday at one of these pieces, and I'm like, wait a minute. That's the same thickness as the cane topper for the Riddler cane. I picked it up.
The one that was co-designed by UnitedPropBuilders and Coffee Powered Media?
Yeah, exactly. And I looked at it, and I'm like, wait a minute. And so I put it next to the one, or the pepped one that I made and have on my cane in the corner of my room. And sure enough, it's the same thickness, and it's just the right size. I just need a foam cutter to cut it out and
why can't you use an X-Acto knife or something?
Because I tried.
Oh.
And I got little foam balls everywhere.
Gotcha.
So I need a hot wire or something to cut it. No, it looks really bad if I try to cut it with a razor blade. So I need a foam cutter to cut it out and shape it, and then I can get something done with it.
Cool. Aren't you worried about the durability of it though?
Well, see, that's why I said get something done about it, because I really want to make a mold of it and get casts of this made. So that's something that I'd like to do eventually, is mold it and make casts of the cane topper.
That'd be cool. I'm assuming you can't make it out of wood then?
I can make it out of wood if I wanted to, but I can't find a block of wood that is the correct size. All the blocks of wood that I've found, they are either way too thick, too thin, or hollow.
Well, too thin's not a problem. You just put two together.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I know if you go to most hardware stores that deal with wood, you can find they usually have a scraps bin, or when people request custom sizes, those scraps go away. So if you can find two pieces, even if they're different types of wood that are half the thickness of you need, you put them together, you get the full thickness, and then.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you're right. You're right there. I mean, I really haven't been looking at hardware stores for wood. Actually, I've been going to I've been going to Michael's, because all the ones they have wooden. I don't want to say canvas. It's I don't know. It's stuff for crafts and stuff, and I don't want to get a giant piece of wood for something that's less than a foot long or foot wide,
Check a hardware store.
They've got this. Well, they've got the small pieces of wood that are ideal for this. And
then just get a couple of them.
Yeah, but I mean, again, they're all hollow. They're all hollowed out, and I'm like, well, this is stupid. So that's just stupid. Of course, I know I'm going about this the completely wrong way.
Yeah, you're doing really complicated, because
I am.
You could get foam core EVA and just layer that too.
Yeah, and see, I tried it with EVA. I didn't like how it turned out with EVA. Foam core, I haven't done it with foam core because I'm lazy.
You have 7 sheets.
No, I don't have 7 sheets anymore.
Oh.
Yeah. But no, I've looked at that piece of scrap foam from it was packing material, and this is the perfect size.
I can tell you right now that foam, if it's at like, can you see like all the individual spheres on it and stuff like that?
No.
Because I know that
it's really thick.
The hardest stuff to deal with on Earth.
Yeah, this stuff is really thick.
Interesting.
So it's really thick, really rigid. So I mean, I wouldn't have a problem making a mold from it.
Okay.
So
as long as you seal it too.
Yeah, definitely have to seal it and then do stuff with it. But I mean, I seriously think that would work. So.
Well, I can't wait to see how that goes.
Yeah, I just have to get a foam cutter. Make a foam cutter first.
Yeah.
It's just a 9-volt battery and a piece of copper wire.
Right. There's technically a special wire you're supposed to use, but a copper wire.
Yeah, you can use guitar strings.
Awesome.
So
don't follow any of that advice, kids. Look up.
Well, that's actually no. That partially is like a small guitar string or a thin guitar string.
Well, it's time to wrap up, believe it or not.
Wow.
The show went very quickly, I thought.
It did. You know, we spent most of the time talking about movies and TV, but
hey, it's all relatable. You gotta get your reference picture somehow.
Yeah.
So, Sean, if people wish to get in contact with you and keep up on your super cool projects that are coming up, where can they do that at?
You can find me on YouTube at Coffee Powered Media and on Twitter at SeanEngine951. And you?
Well, if you wish to get in contact with me, you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/UnitedPropBuilders, facebook.com/a lot of other things, because it's the group page. Just look up United Prop Builders under groups. Or you can contact me via email at UnitedPropBuilders.com. No. UnitedPropBuilders@gmail.com.
There you go.
Or you can go to our website, UnitedPropBuilders.com. So until next time, we'll see you guys later. Bye.
See ya.